there's a number of very context specific. There can be things that can influence what has to be there in order for someone to go, I'm convinced, whatever that actually means. And there's another conversation about that. There's like, what does that actually mean to someone? Is it, I'm convinced so I'll take action, or I'm convinced so that I feel comfortable with the information that's been given to me? So there's like, what's the exit for a lot of people? That can change. The information that we're getting, the source that it's coming from, that has a huge impact whether we do regard somebody as an authority. So we could even look into that and go deeper down the rabbit hole and go, okay, what has to be there for you to be convinced that somebody is an authority?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a very, I think it's a very complex area of exploration. But one of the things that tells me when I'm convinced about something is there is a feeling. Yeah. And there's also something else as well for me. There's very little resistance to me taking action based upon the information that I've got. So if I'm not convinced about something, quite often there'll be some resistance to it as well, to me taking action. So I don't know, it's one of those, it'd be really interesting just to explore for a couple of days and really go, deep down some rabbit holes. Maybe you wouldn't be interested in that one, but I would really love to explore this in a much more deeper way than I know I've ever done, because all of those different moving parts, I'm even seeing it now. So, and I'm not convinced that seeing is that important to me, but I'm seeing all the different moving parts and how. So for me, certain strategies, there are numerous moving parts that have to be there for me to go, yes, I'm convinced. And then there are other places, other strategies, other activities and actions and behaviors where I don't need that. I don't need to be convinced. I will just engage and explore and experiment and find out. But then I don't know where and when I'll then be convinced that exploration and experimentation has led to like an exit of the strategy.
Even if I'm going to explore something, I'm convinced exploring is a good plan. So there is a convincer in there somewhere. Otherwise, personally, I wouldn't do it. I mean, if I start procrastinating and if I start faffing about and being held back from doing something, I go and think about, so what is this all about? And 100% of the time, it's because I'm not convinced I should be doing that. I'm not convinced that's a good idea. And then I have to sit and review it and think about it.
And I totally get it. And there'll be some things that aren't important enough to even stop and think about and review. Like there'll be some choices and decisions where, for me, the end results are kind of inconsequential.
Yeah.
So I don't need to be convinced about something. It's just like you do actions. You're kind of just going to do them. But there will be some things that will have to stop and sit and think and weigh up the evidence to the point where I go, I think this is now the best choice and decision to make at this moment in time with the information and knowledge I have.